Hello, Gary Stearman. Time for another commentary. This one taking place on the 27th of December, 2016, headed for the new year, 2017. Hope you all had a great and blessed Christmas season. We are counting the days of Hanukkah. Now, the Jews the world over keep the festival of Hanukkah, commemorating the rededication of the temple. This year, Christmas and Hanukkah coincided. The 24th of Kislev was the 24th of December. The 25th of Kislev, the first full day of the 8 days of Hanukkah, coincided with the 25th of December. It's an amazing thing. Hanukkah, the festival of dedication, goes back to 164 BC. And it's interesting that in 164 BC, on the 24th of Kislev, the temple, which was recaptured from the Seleucid dynasty, was rededicated. The 8 days of dedication commemorate the 8 days of lighting the menorah with oil that was sanctified and purified for that purpose, but there wasn't enough oil. Miraculously, the oil supply, and they had found one cruse of dedicated oil, lasted for the full 8 days. Therefore, this came to be known as the miracle of Hanukkah, or the miracle of dedication. Now, in 520 BC, this is a long time before 164 BC, the prophet Haggai, in Haggai 2:18, wrote this: "Consider now from this day and upward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, even from the day that the foundation of the Lord's temple was laid, consider it." Now this is very interesting, because this is 520 BC, many, many years before the 164 BC foundation of the 24th of Kislev as Hanukkah. And yet, here we have the festival of dedication. And long, long before the temple was taken back from the Seleucids. What was going on there? Well, the second temple was being rebuilt, and the laying of the foundation of the second temple took place, or that is the dedication of it, took place on Hanukkah. Hanukkah, dedication. You know, in our New Testament, we have in John chapter 10, this. John chapter 10, verse 22, "And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication, and it was winter." Well, there it is. There's the feast of the dedication, Hanukkah, and it was winter. "And Jesus walked in the temple in Solomon's porch, and then came the Jews round about him and said unto him, How long dost thou make us to doubt? If thou be the Christ, tell us plainly." Jesus answered them. Remember, this took place on the festival of dedication, that is Hanukkah. Jesus answered them, "I told you, and you believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. But you believe not, because you're not of my sheep, as I said unto you. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father, which gave them to me, is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one." What a statement by Jesus. He's declaring unity and equality with the Father. And when does he choose to do this? Well, he chooses to do this on the festival of dedication. Remember, Haggai said, remember the 24th day of the 9th month. Remember when Jesus came to the temple, he drove out the money changers, and he made a revolutionary statement: "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." And he was referring, of course, to his own body as the temple. So what we have here is, if you will, a commingling of prophecies concerning the Jewish temple and the Lord himself, who declared, "I and my Father are one," and destroy this temple and I'll raise it up in 3 days. All of these things converge, and particularly in the year 2016, they converged when Hanukkah and Christmas, the 25th of Kislev, the 25th of December, fell on the same day. I'm going to make a little shift here and say something that struck me, because on the 23rd of December in the year 2016, the United Nations Security Council voted to pass Rule 2334, and they passed it by a vote of 14-0, with the U.S. abstaining, describing Israel's settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem as illegal and an obstacle to peace with the Palestinians. And you all, if you're keeping up with the news of Israel, I'm sure have observed Israel's reaction to this UN vote on December 23rd. Israel's reaction was shock and anger, because essentially the West Bank and territories, including, by the way, the Temple Mount and the Western Wall, have been declared illegal acquisitions. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused Barack Obama of staging a, quote, shameless ambush of his country. Netanyahu warned countries that backed the measure that they would pay a diplomatic and economic price for their vote. What struck me was the timing. On the 23rd of December, you have this anti-Israel vote, a real shock. And it's very obvious now in retrospect how that vote came to pass, because the United States had the power to block it, but reneged on that power and essentially slapped the face of Israel in the closing days of the Obama administration. But the timing, the 23rd of December, and then the next day was the 24th of Kislev. That is to say, the 24th of Kislev, a day of wrenching emotion for the Jews. Why? Going all the way back to the Seleucid dynasty and Antiochus IV Epiphanes, the 24th of Kislev marked the taking of the temple away from the Jews in 167 BC. 3 years to the day later, December 24th of 164 BC, the Maccabees took back the Temple Mount on the same day. I just felt that it was more than coincidence that this slap in the face of Israel took place on the 23rd. Very next day was the 24th. The day after that was the 25th, Christmas. And we're counting the days, as I speak right now, we're counting the days of Hanukkah. And I'm counting the days moving into January 1st of 2017, because this is going to be a dramatic year, a year in which Israel is back to the wall. Israel is in defensive posture. The Russians to the north, the Iranians to the northeast, and you have Bashar al-Assad, who now sits content that he's won the battle for yet another time. Israel is basically standing increasingly alone in these days. And prophetically speaking, it is this precise condition that we've been watching very carefully. We've had a dramatic change of politics in the United States in the year 2016. Going into 2017, a lot of the promises made by the new administration involve the Middle East. They involve Iran. They involve our relations with Russia. Surprise, all of those names appear in the Bible, prophetically speaking. And at the heart of the entire conflict is Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu has not yielded 1 inch. Benjamin Netanyahu has essentially said, okay, you did it to us, and we are not going to vary our policy 1 bit to accommodate this UN vote. So what we have going into 2017 is a wrenching drama being twisted tighter and tighter and tighter. And as I look forward into this year, which started with this strange confluence of Hanukkah and Christmas and leading up to the new year and all the dramatic events. And when I think of the festival of dedication, I think of Antiochus IV Epiphanes. Back in 167 BC, raising an image of himself as the heroic Zeus and placing it in the temple sanctuary. And then 3 years later, the Maccabees ripped that statue out of there and recovered the temple. I think of these events, historically speaking, and I think, wow, are we seeing a kind of echo of things past, reverberating into the present? It sure seems like it to me. And we're going to keep watching all these things as they unfold, and unfold they will in the very near future. That's my belief. I'm Gary Stearman. Have a great day in the Lord, and keep watching. We are. Thanks for joining us on Prophecy Watchers. You can find us on the web at prophecywatchers.com, where you can sign up for our free email newsletter, or follow us at facebook.com/prophecywatchers. In the meantime, keep watching, everybody, and we'll see you soon.